right, all right. Welcome to another show of Sports Therapy with R.H. Jr. I would like to say welcome, 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 and welcome again. Hey, today's show is going to be action packed, but before we begin, let me say happy Father's Day weekend because I know today is Saturday and Father's Day is tomorrow, Sunday, but we won't be talking tomorrow because we won't have a show on Sunday. So therefore, I want to get it in right now and say happy Father's Day to all the fathers. And also want to say happy Juneteenth. Talked to one of my kin folks. She told me, she said, you know what? We're going to be Juneteenthing all over the place. And that's coming from the great state. She said, we're going to be Juneteenthing all over the place. So for all those who are going to be Juneteenthing, happy Juneteenth. Let's get together and let's celebrate because I'm big on celebrating diversity. I don't care what it is. You don't have to be African American to celebrate Juneteenth. With that, I want to get in today's show. Today's show is titled To Thy Own Self Be True. To thy own self be true. So we're going to look at an article that was written in Sports Nation, Sports Illustrated. It was entitled NFL 2022 Record Predictions for Every Team. When I first read that article, I was like, okay, first place I went to see, okay, what are my Commanders going to do? What is the expectation for my Commanders? Because I had actually read a previous article that kind of made me so mad that I actually started going off. And the first thing I said, well, what the, then I had to keep hitting my cussing bell because it had my Commanders pick to finish 4 and God knows what. I was like, wait a minute, nah. So with that, hopefully, just like data, if you look around, you can find enough data to support anything you want. So based on this article, and I think it's real interesting, we're going to go through every team and look at their records. We're going to look at the analysis, the breakdown, and just kind of figure out what's what. And so I'm inviting all my guests who's going to call in. We're going to talk about their picks and, their personal choices. And remember, one thing about sports therapy, I always say you get 2 minutes to call. You can rant, rip, or kick some knowledge. Today we'll probably be kicking more knowledge than anything because let's be honest, football season hadn't started except for OTAs and we got some mini camp training going on and things of that nature. So we know that this is what you call dry dock. So basically, the ship is in port. So we're trying to fill in some time and still bring some quality a quality show. So with that, I want to segue into, now some people think that when I'm looking down, I'm not asleep. I'm actually reading from a run sheet. For those who think I just get up and just wing it, no, I don't just wing it. I have a run sheet that I follow, and I try to follow it as close as possible because, but things come up. And when it does, I kind of get away, then I come back to it. So if I'm looking down, it's not because I'm asleep. Now I'm sticking to my run sheet. Remember, on Sports Therapy, we don't talk politics. We don't talk sexual orientation. We don't talk anything but football and football-related substance or subjects. So I don't want to know what's going on in the world of politics because I wanted to create an atmosphere where we can kind of get away from all those things. We can lay down our arms and, Republicans and Democrats we don't have to talk about, this is just football. Because one thing that bothers me sometimes is when I'm reading a good article and there's some good back and forth conversation going, and then somebody will throw a political bomb in there like, come on, do we really want to talk about that right now? So that's why I created the show as a buffer, a place where we all can go and just kind of talk football. So with that, I want to read a little bit from this article. This is coming from Fan Nation. And it was a article in Sports Illustrated. Now, here's what it says. It starts off, it says, can Matthew Stafford and the Rams repeat Super Bowl champions. Do the Cowboys return to the big game because they have the easiest schedule? And Fan Nation breaks it down. So what we're going to be doing is that we're going to be looking at each one of the teams, starting with. In fact, we're going to break it down by conference. In fact, the article went on to say the Super Bowl champion Rams, they're going to kick off the season. Now, we all know that when you're the Super Bowl champ, you always start off the season playing. And usually it's on a Thursday night. So we got the Rams kicking everything off September the 8th. And then they're going to be playing the Bills. And we're going to talk about the Bills a little bit later, because when I think about the Bills, the Buffalo Bills, those old saying, now my heart always goes out to the Bills, because I remember all those times they went to the Super Bowl and they lost. Now, there's a part of me want to see the Bills win a Super Bowl. I'm sorry. I do. I don't want them to ever play my team and win the Super Bowl, but I wouldn't mind seeing the Bills win. Of course, we're going to talk about brother Tom Brady. He's returning. And I'm wondering, sooner or later, Father Time has to reach up and grab Tom Brady. I mean, hey, the guy is what he is, but sooner or later, man, Father Time has to come knocking on his door. So with that, let's push on. Remember, this is Sports Therapy with F.H. Jr., and the title of the show is To Thy Own Self Be True. So now, let's start off. Let's talk about the NFC West. Now, if you've been in a cave, you realize that the NFC West, that's where the Super Bowl champions reign, the Los Angeles Rams. Now, according to this article I read, this is what it says about the Rams. It says the Rams will have a very, very, very tough schedule. I mean, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to know that anytime you win the Super Bowl, you're usually going to play a first-place schedule. So it says the Rams' greatest challenge might be the spotlight. Because how often does a team repeat Super Bowl champion? We rarely have. I don't think we've had a Super Bowl champion in, God, I don't think it's been, I think it was 2004 was the last time. So it says, this is a star-studded group. We know they got Matthew Stafford, they got Jalen Ramsey, Aaron Donald, Cooper Kupp. They got a who's who of guys. So based on the article, it says that the Rams are picked to finish 11-6. And their strength of schedule is a .567. So basically, it's saying that the Rams pretty much going to have the toughest schedule in the league. So if you're a Ram fan, but you have to beat the champions. That's how I see it. Then we have the Cardinals. And of course, you know, they are also in the NFC West. Now, one thing about the Cardinals that I don't know is because, you know, I love my boy Tyler Murray. Had him on my fantasy team. Won a lot for me. Kind of screwed up down the stretch a little bit. But I'm thinking here. My man is holding out for more money. And if you followed my show last week, we talked about should there be a different pay scale for the NFL running backs. So I'm a fan of guys getting their money. I think you should always get your money because, you know, professional football is a collision sport. Guys run as fast as they can and they collide as hard as they can. They hit each other as hard as they can. I mean, that's just the nature of the game. So I don't get mad at any guy, any athlete for holding out saying, hey, you know what, I got to get my money. For all those who saying, well, he hadn't proved anything, he hadn't done anything, you know. Hey, man, get your money. That's how I feel. So anyway, according to this article, the Cardinals are going to finish with a record of 10-7. 10-7. They talked about they're going to face the Chiefs, Raiders, and they will also play the defending champion, the Rams. Now they're in one of the pretty much the toughest division in the league. So I don't know about all that, but I still think that they're going to have a winning season. Now, of course, we do know that their wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins is out. He's going to be suspended for, I believe, 6 games. So that is going to impact the team down the line. So for all you the Cardinal fans, I don't know, that 10-7 may be a stretch, but we shall see. Now, next we have the 49ers. Ooh-wee, the 49ers. According to this article, it says 49ers will have a record of 9-8. Now, of course, based on the fact that the league add that extra game, so nobody can finish 8-8 anymore. You're either gonna have a uh, winning record or losing record. No more 8-8. You know, I remember that I would always tease my Cowboy fans by always saying 8-8. We're going to Super Bowl. Now y'all gonna be 8-8. So no more going 8-8. So you can't go 8-8 anymore. So according to this, the 49ers, their schedule is gonna be brutal. Cause they're in that division with the Rams, the Chargers, the Raiders. That's a tough division. So I don't know. And they lost a lot of key players. A lot of key players. So I'm thinking. Well, I think that the Niners can either go. They either go. You know what? They're gonna be 9-8. Okay, they're gonna be 9-8. Oh, what has happened to my Seahawks? To my Seahawks. Oh, the poor Seahawks, because they lost. They lost Russell. They lost Russell Wilson. And guess who they're gonna open the season and play? Their first game. They open up. They play the Denver Broncos. Can you imagine? That's just like losing your girlfriend to a dude, and then you got to go to the dude's house and eat dinner with them. Come on, we're asking too much. So according to this article, the Seahawks are going to go 7-10. 7-10. So much for the 12th man. Now let's talk about my favorite division. Note the shirt. My favorite division, the NFC East. When I was a kid, it used to be called the Beast of the East. The NFC East. Now, I always rip my Cowboy fans a little bit. They know it's all love though. Yeah. Come on, it is what it is. I'm in the bunker. Now, for those who don't know, I'm coming to you all in, I don't want to say enemy territory. Oh hell, it is enemy territory. I am broadcasting from the state of Texas, and I work with a lot of Cowboy fans, and we rib each other back and forth. I got a couple of family members, card carrying Cowboy fans. I grew up in the great state of Arkansas. Jerry Jones owns the team. Everybody in Arkansas is a Cowboy fan except for, some Saint fans, and we have a few. Since we're so close to Missouri, so we got some Kansas City fans there too. But the majority of Arkansas people are Cowboy fans, and those who live in the great state of Texas, the majority of them are Cowboy fans too, except for the Texans. But according to this article, the Cowboys are gonna go 11-6. And let me read a little bit about what this article says. It says the Cowboys will try to repeat as NFC champions. And we know that's not going to happen. No one ever repeats as NFC champion. We're not going to have it. I mean, it's in the charter. They hadn't read that little part at the bottom that says you're not allowed to repeat as the NFC champions. So it's something that it simply does not happen in this division. That's what I just said, okay? But it says considering the state of the division and Dallas' easy schedule, 11 wins seem to be doable. The part of the schedule to survive is week 1 through 2 at home against the Buccaneers and the Cincinnati Bengals. So for my Cowboy fans, 11-6. You know, I honestly think that that window for the Cowboys is closed, and not because I'm a Commander fan, but I just think that window was there, that opportunity, and just like with the Cowboys, and we're gonna talk about the Buffalo Bills lately. You can have a good team, and you can have everything in place. That means the conditions are right. For those of you who have ever been in a tornado, they say the conditions are right. See, the conditions were right for the Cowboys to win a Super Bowl. Doesn't mean it's going to happen, but it means that the conditions were there. And I think the conditions were there the last 3 years. So you get that window, and when you get that window, you have to win. They're not going to give it to you, but that's that window there. So I actually think that the window has closed on the Cowboys. Um, I could be wrong, but that's where I am on that, and I am being as impartial as I can get in terms of talking about Cowboys now truth be told, I don't want them to win any game because they're in the same division with my team. So I have to be honest. I don't want them to win. I definitely don't want to see them go 11-6. But according to the article, the Cowboys will finish 11-6 with a record. Now it did say that the Cowboys and the Commanders, we got the easiest schedule in the league. So, and I don't know how they get the easiest schedule in the league. They won their division champion. So I just thought that they should have a a stronger schedule. That's just me, impartial me. Then we have the Philadelphia Eagles. Fly, Eagles, fly. Now, if anybody tune into the draft, you know that the Eagles hit a home run in the draft. Man, they got some good quality draft picks, and then they made a few trades. They picked up A.J. Brown, star receiver. I think they got him from the Titans. So according to this article, the Eagles are going to be 10-7. 10-7. The Eagles were a surprise entry until the playoff last season, earning 7th seed with a 9-8 record. The only issue I have with the Eagles, and I just don't think that Jalen Hurd is the man. I don't think he's the man. And I'm a big Hurd fan because he plays. Well, he did play in college for my favorite team next to my beloved Razorbacks, OU, and I love watching him play. I don't know if it was him or if it's the system, because some I can't believe it was that system because he didn't throw a lot. They built the offense around his ability to run, and of course a running quarterback does not last that long in the NFL. You can be successful, but at the end of the day, you still got to learn how to throw the ball because defenses and defensive coordinators, one thing that they do is that they spend the all season trying to get better. Just like with the Rams, teams figure out when the Rams won the Super Bowl, teams study the Rams and they figure out two things: how can we be like the Rams, or how do we stop the Rams? So when it comes to running quarterbacks, dual threat quarterbacks, now when you're dual threat quarterback and you can really, really throw the ball, then teams have to play you honest. But if you are that quarterback and you preferably like to run, then that's why I am with the Eagles. I think they'll go as far as Jalen Hurts can take them, and I just don't think that he's a man right now. And I could be wrong. And we'll see. But that's where I am with that. I just think that he's not the man. Prove me wrong, brother. So according to this, the high flying Eagles will be 10-7. 10-7. Now we get to the good stuff. Y'all notice how I smile and perk up? Because we're talking about my Washington Commanders. Now, I did mention that I read a previous article and it said that my Commanders were going to finish some like with 4 games, and I was cussing and just doing all kinds of crap. Then I found this article that put me in it. Well, it it put me in a better frame of mind. But I think that my Commanders are going to win the division. Yeah, well, I do. I think that. And for those of you who say, well, how can you? Because here's the thing. There's this old country saying, takes a sorry dog that won't wag his own tail. So, yeah, hell, I got to be on my team side. Okay? Think about that. So, I think, I hope my man wins. If you just try the bus, brother, because I think we got a good defense. I think we're ready to make that next step. I think last year the expectations were a little bit too much for our young defense. I think they were the previous year. I think they were like a year ahead. And I think this year will be the year they'll get it done if we can get some decent quarterback play. But I actually think that I think my man Carson Wentz is going to be okay. You know, I read an article. Someone was talking about performance at minicamp. And one thing I tell people, two things I don't really get hyped up about is minicamp and preseason. Minicamp and preseason. Now, I'm not a pro football player. I haven't been there, but I think the whole thing for minicamp is practice. And like Iverson said, practice. You know, practice. We're talking about practice. Not the game, but practice. Not the game. Practice. So y'all want to know where that coming from? Google that Iverson video. Practice. But I just think that, according to the article, we're going to finish the season. The Commanders are going to finish the season 8-9. I actually think that the Commanders will win 10 games. That's where I come down on that. I think we'll win 10 games. I think we're going to beat the Cowboys, or at least split, because when it comes to the Cowboys and the Redskins, or the Commanders, or Football Nation, or whatever you want to call us, two things you can't do. See, when I played in high school sports against my best friend or my brother or my family, I'm always going to play the hardest against them. So when it comes to the Cowboys and the Redskin Nation or the Commanders, one thing you can't do is you can't measure hatred. You can't measure hatred. We hate them, and they hate us. So you throw out all those records, all that crap gets thrown out. You can't measure hatred. No. I remember there are years when we didn't beat anybody else, but we beat the Cowboys. And now I remember years when they didn't beat anybody else, but they beat the Skins or the Football Nation. So one thing about it, you can't measure hatred. So that's why I'm on that. I think my Commanders are gonna win 10 games. So anyone dispute that, call into the show. Then we have the Giants. According to this article, the Giants are gonna go 8-9. Now keep in mind, the Giants, are they rebuilding? Or are they not rebuilding? Or are they just whatever? But I know they got a new coach, according to this article. Now, for those who are big on data and analysis, and in fact, I'm going to do a show, old school versus new school, where, now I'm old school, but I know some of the old school ways doesn't work anymore. You got to be, what's the word? You got to be you got to be a player's coach. You know, back in the days, they didn't give a crap what the players thought. You were there because you had a certain skill level, and you expected to provide that skill. But I know things have changed because we got analytics. I mean, the kids are coming up following analytics all through their career, high school, even Pee Wee League. They have analytics. They look at data. According to this, if you do this, you do this. If you do that, you do this. So I understand that. In fact, a lot of teams are hiring a analytics guy, you know, a person. May not be a guy, could be a female. So analytics plays a big role in this thing. So when I say that, according to the article, that the Giants are going to be 8-9. Says the Giants' strength of schedule ranks 29th. So that means they pretty much got a last place schedule. Well, 29 is close to a last place schedule. So it's an easy schedule. So, and I can't complain because the Commanders have an easy schedule too. I'm saying that, I'm being honest. We have an easy schedule. Now, only problem I have is why do the Cowboys have an easy schedule? Because they had an easy schedule last year. Easy schedule. Cupcakes. We all gonna be munching on cupcakes, getting fat on cupcakes. But the key is you have to eat all your cupcakes, because if you lose to some of those cupcake teams, then it's gonna affect whether you get to go to the playoffs or not. So think about that. With that being said, because you know they do have a new coach, so gonna take a quick break. Then we'll be right back. This is Sports Therapy with FH Jr. All right, we're back. That was a very, 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 very short break. Now we're gonna talk about the NFC North. The NFC North. We the North. When I think about the North, to be honest, when I think about the NFC North, there's really one team comes to my mind, and I know there's just more than this one team that represents the NFC North. But I always think about the frozen tundra and that team in Wisconsin, better known as the Green Bay Packers. Now, according to this article, the Packers, the Cheeseheads, the Packers are going to have a record of 11-6. And this is what the article says about the Packers' chances. It says the Packers are coming off 3 consecutive 13-win seasons. That's hard to do. And that has never been done in the NFL. Said the Packers will open their season. They're going to face the Minnesota Vikings. Then they're going to host the Chicago Bears. Then they play Tampa Bay and that man. Those early road games will challenge the team that traded their all-pro wide receiver, Devontae Adams, that might come back and bite them in the butt. Remember, they traded him to the Raiders. And see, my only thing about the Packers is that the Packers are, every year, the Packers, and I'm not a Packer fan, but I just see sometimes they set their fans up for disappointment. They have a good season. They're always, I don't know, winning 12, 13 games or whatever. And then somehow they get to the playoffs, and although they get past the first round on a regular basis, it's just that, because, you know, when you're a Packer fan, you know, you got standards. The standards are there, man. So when it's the Packers, man, it's like, yeah, if we have a good season, we win 12, 13, 14 games or whatever, we got to do more than just winning one game in the playoffs. So I think the conditions are there with the Packers. But, you know, last year they won, even though there was a lot of in family disagreements as far as with the quarterback. Was he gonna play? Was he gonna retire? Da 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 and da da. But I think with the Packers, the expectation is 13 wins. So what? You know, let's get some hardware. I personally think that they're gonna go far. And I know the goals and the objectives of the Packers is for them to be successful. And of course, you know, whenever they play that team whose name shall not be mentioned, I always cheer for the Packers. So I think the Packers are going to do some good things, man. But that's the record according to all this good analysis. The Packers are going to be 11-6. Then we had the Vikings. Now, Vikings, according to this article, the Vikings will end their record. They will end up with a record of 11-6. Let me go back. Now, if the Packers are 11-6 and the Vikes are 11-6, see, when I read this article, what jumped off to me is that, wait a minute, a lot of teams gonna have these winning records. So who are these losers? Everybody can't be winning every week. If everybody's winning, then my show's gonna be pretty boring. I won't have people calling in and ranting and raving and cussing and doing all that crazy stuff. I'm not cheering for anybody's team to lose. I'm just saying. Just saying. Because when I look at this article, when I read this article, it had a lot of teams having winning records. So I like, okay, everybody can't be winning. Somebody got to be losers. So, but the Vikings are going 11-6. Now, Vikings are another team that I call them front runners. To me, a front runner team is a team that wins a lot in the regular season. They do a lot. They win. They look good. It's almost like that thoroughbred horse. Man, that horse look good until it gets on the track. And then it comes in last place. So each year, the Vikings, the potential is there for them to do some good things. But I don't know what happens down the stretch. They always get disappointed in the playoffs. Now, my kid thinks that I have something against Kurt, the Cowboys, not the Cowboys, I'm sorry, the Vikings quarterback, Captain Kurt, because he was our Redskins quarterback for years. And to me, Kurt always put up a bunch of empty yards, between the 20 and the 20. Oh, man, he was devastating, but he was always throwing interception, fumbling, and da-da-da, So that's where I am on the Vikes. I just think Vikes need a different quarterback. I just think there's a lot of empty yards in their quarterback, and I just don't think he's a man to get them over the hump. 11-6, I personally don't see it, but it could happen. Let's talk Bears. And the Bear facts. Chicago Bears. According to this article, Bear fans, according to this article, your team will have a losing record. According to this article, your team record will be 7-10. It says the toughest stretch of the games come early for the Bears, who would prefer it if it broke differently, considering that they're in, we can't use that R word in football, rebuild. I don't have a lot of expectation for the Bears, but I'm not a Bear fan. And because, we don't shame people for their fandom, even though some people fandom may be a little bit misguided, but that's why they call them fans, because, fans is short for what? Fanatics. So I'm hoping that the Bears do a little something this year. And this year will be the time that the Bears are going to find out about their quarterback, Justin Fields. Is he the man? Because they ran the other quarterback out, traded him, and they ran my man Mitchell Trubisky out, and he went to the Steelers. So we're going to see how that's going to go. So Fields, you're the man this year. So according to this article, Bears record is going to be 7-10. Detroit Lions. Now, what I'm going to do today, I'm going to cover every team, all 32 teams. That's why I said it's hard for me to say that everybody going to have a winning record. But we're talking about some of those teams that, according to this article, are not going to have winning records, and the Detroit Lions are one of them. It says, now their strength of schedule is a .467. So the Lions begin. Now this is going to be Dan Campbell's second year as head coach. So Is his seat gonna be hot? But can your seat get really hot in Detroit? That's a cold weather state. Can you can your seat get hot? You know, uh, I don't know about Detroit, but according to the article, they're gonna be 8-9. I like to see who's gonna be those 9 teams that they're gonna beat. And I don't think they played my Commanders, but I hope we're not one of them. But um, they open up against the Eagles. Now I will be cheering for the Lions against the Eagles. Look, I cheer against every team in the NFC East because I'm a Commander fan. Just like a snake is a snake. Why do you get upset if he bites you? You know he's a snake. So if you know that I'm a Commander fan, why would you don't get upset if I say, hey, I want to see the Eagles lose. I want to see the Giants lose. I want to see the Cowboys lose twice in the same game. But am I truly impartial? Yeah. That's right. I'm impartial. Except for when my team is playing. Because I am a fan. And fan is short for what? Fanatic. So according to this article, the Detroit Lions will have a losing season. And the Lions have a long history of not being successful. So I hope they turn things around. Now let's talk NFC South. And I said earlier in the show, sooner or later, Father Time is gonna catch up with my man Brady. I thought it was happening last year, but I don't know, man. Whatever that guy drinking, smoking, or snorting. Now I'm not saying he's on anything. I'm just saying whatever he's drinking or whatever, man, he needs to pass that around. We all need a little bit of that. Trust me. Yeah. So according to this article, it says the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they are predicted, their record should be 12-5. Says they're playing a tough schedule. The strength of schedule is a 0.535 based on the analysis. They got a tough schedule, pretty much. I would say a first place schedule. Now, this is what the analysis says in terms of the Buccaneers. It says road games at Dallas and New Orleans will provide a great task for Tampa Bay to start the season. Things only get tougher from there, as back-to-back league MVP Aaron Rodgers and the Packers travel to Raymond James Stadium for the Bucs' home opener. This is going to take place in Week 3. Then followed by a visit from my homie, Patrick Mahomes, and the Chiefs in Week 4. And if the Bucs can manage to come away with at least 2 victories in that 4-game stretch, they'll find themselves in good condition. You damn right they're gonna be a good position. Let me hit my cussing bell. I had to hit it like small, like there we are. Now, because if they get past my boy Patrick Mahomes and Rodgers, then I still don't think they're gonna go 12-5, but that's just me. That's just me. And let's talk about the Who Dat Nation. The Who Dat Nation. Now, got some serious concerns when it comes to New Orleans Saints, and that's at the position of quarterback. I know Jameson Winston is going to be coming off of a major injury. I don't know how. I've never had any major injury, to be honest. So I can only go by what I've seen and observed and been told that first year, although players are completely healed, but it's just a lot of times it's in the mind. It's in, your mind. You're thinking about, should I protect myself while I'm playing instead of just going and playing? Because it's just like I remember when I was in high school and playing basketball. My coach always told me, Basketball is a game you can't think and play. You just have to play, and so and the same is for football and many other sports. When you start trying to think and play the game, now I know people say, "Well, yeah, what about the cerebral guy he's very cerebral?" Yeah, the hell with that. You gotta go out and play. And so if the first year, I really don't think he's gonna be 100%. Because they say when you come off a major knee injury, it's usually that second year when you kind of feel comfortable enough to kind of do some of the things that you used to do in the past. So that being said, according to the article, the Saints are going to be 11-6. It says also they have a new coach, Dennis Allen. Now, I don't know. Will the Saints keep the same system in place, or will they try to do something different? Will they do something different? Because there's no Drew Brees, there's no Peyton, and so they do get back the big time wide receiver. Hopefully they can get him in the mix. So if the Saints can incorporate all that into a new coach, if they can you know get my man 7-Eleven back and get him playing and get him back in the mix, get him happy, and so I just worried about the quarterback position, and that's gonna either be that's gonna make or break the Saints with that position only, and that's where I fall on that. Now it does say quarterback Jameis Winston and the Saints will open their season with 3 consecutive games against the NFC South rivals. So now they can kind of make some hay there. The Saints have the 7th most challenging schedule, so they do have a hard schedule. Now, one thing I've noticed is the league mad at the Saints. What say ye, Who Dat Nation? Because it's almost like the Saints never get I won't say a weak schedule, but the Saints always end up with a tough schedule every year. Now, I know a lot of it maybe because they are marketable, but the Saints never get a break. They get bad calls. We all know about the great, what I call the great train robbery. So, but it's like the Saints don't get a break. They don't. Hell, get the Saints an easy schedule. Give them the Cowboys schedule. And you can't give them the Commander schedule, but give them the Cowboys schedule. The Saints don't get a break. Every year, they get damn near first place schedule to play. Division champs, second runner-ups, Super Bowl champs. Gee, get the Saints a break. What say ye, Who Dat Nation? Then we got the Dirty Boys. The Dirty Boys. They're in full rebuild. According to the article, the prediction for the Falcons are 7-10. So the Falcons bosses did not concede to being in a rebuilding mode last year. Sometimes reality sets in. There's old saying, nothing is real until reality sets in. Nothing is real until reality sets in. So reality for the Falcons were, hey, we are rebuilding. We are in rebuild mode. So according to the article, they are going to be 7-10. Now, as I mentioned in our show earlier, I said, hey, you know what? We're in what I call dry dock. Football season is it's starting, mini camps, OTAs, and all that good stuff, and things are kind of slow. So that, and I understand that, I know I had about 300 people to text me, and we talked about the show and we talked about some things, and but I know things are gonna be slow until football season start, and when it's like that, that's when, hey, you got to give me the ball on the 1st-yard line, and I have to carry the show. So I have to get the ball across the finish line without fumbling. So far, I hope I'm not fumbling the show. So I'm capable of making that touchdown. long as you hand me the ball about 1 foot away from the finish line. Now I can't get deep in the backfield. You can't tell me, F.A. Junior, get in the I formation. we gonna hand it to you about 8 yards deep. Ain't gonna happen. I'll fumble every damn time. But so today, if I have to carry the show, hand me the ball, baby. Now, let's finish talking about let's finish talking about predictions. Predictions. To thy own self be true. Now, if you're calling in or if you remember the show is live, so we're on Facebook right now. So if you tune in to Facebook, you want what the hell is going on? Who is this guy? This is Sports Therapy with F.A. Junior, where callers get to call in, get 2 minutes to rant, rip, and kick some knowledge about the NFL. And today's topic is to thy own self be true. A little Shakespeare for you. So we're talking about an article in Sports Illustrated where members of the Sports Nation put out some data indicating a prediction of what each team record will be for this year 2022-2023 football season. Of course, we know the season don't kick off till later. We got OTAs going. We got mini camp going. We got all kinds of stuff going on. But according to the article, this is a prediction for what each team is going to do. So I'm going to take another little break here, and we're going to come back, and we're going to talk about the Carolina Panthers. This is Sports Therapy with F.A. Junior. All right, welcome back. Sports Therapy with F.A. Junior. Hold on. Let me see. I think I might have a caller trying to call. Give me 1 second here. Bear with me, folks. Can I get a little technical difficulties? And it's not with me. Because, when I first started the show, I was like, whoa, I'm having to do a little bit too much. But I think I got a lot of this down to science, man. Let's see here. All right, here we go. Hello, caller. Welcome to Sports Therapy with F.A. Junior.
What's up, F.A. Junior?
Hey, what's up?
Sir?
Who we got?
Go Pack Go.
We got the legendary. We got the legendary Joe in the house. Now, Brother Joe, this is what we're gonna do. Because let's talk about your team. And I want to go way back. I'm finna get in the time machine. And I'm going way back to this article about your Green Bay Packers. Now, according to this, Joe.
Yeah, I missed it.
Your Packers are gonna go 11-6. What say ye?
I can see 11-6.
I'm sure.
12-5 is where it's at, but 11-6 is more realistic. We still got the great number 12, so anything's possible.
I feel you. Now, this is what I talked about when it comes to the Packers. Now, I don't say this too loud, but other than my Commanders, I root for the Packers to do some things. But every year, brother, they disappoint me. They have a hell of a season and get to the playoffs, and you know what happens?
Um, Coaching, figure out coach. That's the main thing. And we don't have enough dogs. You gotta have a few more dogs on the team. Got a lot of young pups, no true full grown dogs. You gotta have some dogs, bro,
You get you,
to make it happen.
you
We
damn,
make,
damn
make it
sure
to the
got
NFC Championship all the time and just don't have enough dogs.
yeah.
No heart.
Because I see that, man. I see that every year, man. The Packers, they open up a can of I was gonna say ass whoop, but I got to hit my cussing bell. But they do. But it's like, man, they get to the playoffs, and it's like, okay, we win that first game, and then and last year, now correct me if I'm wrong, they had everything like they wanted it. They didn't they have home field advantage.
Yes, sir.
And it's like, okay,
We
usually,
always have home field advantage.
yeah, it's like hell, no, nobody wants to go up there. Hell, I wouldn't want to go up there. But I
It's a
don't
great
know.
place to visit. You should make it.
Hey, it's cold as hell up there, Joe. Now, hey, tell me because I know you got some insight. Devontae Adams, what happened?
He just didn't want to be there. Bottom line. It wasn't about the money. He just didn't want to be in Green Bay anymore. He was done with it. He didn't want to spend his career in Green Bay. It's a great football town, but other than football, there's not much there. Been there multiple times, and it's just nothing there. So he wants to market his brand and excel his brand to the next level, take it to the next level. It's smart for him to get out of Green Bay. And what a better place than Vegas to market your brand and as well as make $29 million a year.
Well, I can't argue with having you having your damn cake and eating it too. I can't argue with that at all.
That's what that is.
I can't. But Joe, like I said, man, I appreciate you calling, but man, I want the Packers to do a little bit more than just, don't just give me a couple of games in the playoffs, man. Now, of course, I'm impartial. I'm impartial. But do y'all play the Cowboys this
Okay.
year?
Yes, sir. November 13th up in Green Bay.
Now, you know what? And I told my listeners, I said, hey, look, when it comes to every team in my division, I root against them. It ain't personal. Hell, I root against them. So anybody that's playing the Cowboys, I'm gonna be rooting for them. Anybody playing the Eagles, I'll be rooting for them. Anybody playing the Giants, I'll be rooting for them. Joe, appreciate the call, brother. And you have a good day, all right?
Thanks for having me.
All right, go do some Juneteenth
You
stuff.
as well. Take care.
All right.
No, go Pack, go, baby. Go Pack.
Ah, all right. That is Joe, Packer fan. Caller, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Welcome to Sports Therapy. Hey, we're having a little technical difficulty, but I think we got everything worked out. Who am I listening to? Who?
Now, Brew.
Man, you're a regular. I'm gonna put you on the payroll.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
now, because the title of today's show is "To Thy Own Self Be True." Now, there was an article. There was an article, Sports Illustrated, and it was entitled "NFL Schedule 2022 Record Prediction for Every Team." So now I took a look, and what I said was that, I understand that today there's no football going on. It's what we call dry dock and all that. And
USFL.
well, yeah,
USFL football.
yeah. No, but no NFL. And um, so today's topic is that I wanted to cover and talk about all 32 teams, and based on this article where it made a prediction, and it predicted the records for all these teams. Now I covered, let's see, We talked about the Eagles. We talked about my team, the Commanders, the Giants. We talked about the Packers, and Joe just called in the Vikes.
NFC East, none of them worth talking about. Not one.
So now
I mean, except Dak Prescott, he's always at the top of the news. But anybody besides Dak Prescott in the East is not worth talking about.
Well, you know what? We're gonna swing through your neighborhood, bro, because we're finna talk about the NFC South. Now we talked a little bit about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now they got them picked to go 12-5, and I always said that sooner or later, Father Time is just gonna reach up and grab my man, and hell, I thought it was happening last year, but somehow he dodged the bullet. Now, but let's talk about your Who Dat Nation, them there Saints.
Yeah, because if they got the Buccaneers going 12-5, that's a darn lie.
Right.
Because hell, if they ain't got the Saints on there at least 2 out of their 5 losses,
hey man,
that prediction is questionable.
Hey man, when it comes to the Saints and the Buccaneers, brother, I got to break out the same same measuring stick that when it comes to the Cowboys and the Redskins, the Commanders, or Football Nation, whatever the hell you want to call us, the hatred is still there. So I tell people, you can't measure hatred. You know, we can talk analytics all day long, but at the end of the day, I'm gonna play hardest against my best friend, my buddy, or my enemy. I bring my own motivation. See, Coach ain't got to motivate me. When I look across there and it's for bragging rights and it's for whatever, no, Coach ain't got to motivate me at all, man. Hell, I bring my own shoulder pads and helmet and shoes and jock and socks. I'm ready to go. So with that, brother, when it comes to the Saints and the Bucks, like you get your money worth every time they play. So I'm trying to figure out where are these 12 games that they're saying the Buccaneers are going to win. Where they coming from?
Well, 2 of them shouldn't even be the same. 2 of them, so now, do they even have do they even have them losing to the Saints twice? Because they should. Because we beat them 2 seasons in a row, twice during the regular season. Now, playoffs is a different story. We're not going to talk about playoffs. We're talking about regular season.
Right.
With that being said, the New Orleans Saints is undefeated against the Bucks. 4-0 when they got Tom Brady. Matter of fact, they should get rid of Tom Brady so they can at least win a game against us.
I agree.
Now, what do they have my Saints on? Because I'm about to shred that all up too. Matter of fact, Sports Illustrated should be paying me because I'm probably a little bit smarter than their predictors. So what do they got my Saints on? All
right, here we go. They got your Saints going 11-6. Can you live with that?
I can live with it.
Now hold on.
I think we got a 13. I think we got a 13 or 14-2 team. We got a 13-3 team or a 14-2 team. And the only reason why we're going to lose those 2 games is simply because we're going to play teams who have a just as good a culture as we do, or maybe a tick better.
Well,
you got to remember, out of the 32 teams, the Saints have the best locker room.
Well,
the Saints have the best cultured locker room.
Well,
and we have the most consistent coaching culture, which means Sean Payton is still there. See, some folks think that Sean Payton is gone. Sean Payton is not gone. His coaches are still there. His players are still there. His bosses are still there. He is the mayor of New Orleans.
Now,
people got to people realize that.
Now, Ricardo, let me say this. This is what I feel. And this is what this article went on to say about the Saints. It says, in its analysis, says the new head coach, Dennis Allen, quarterback Jameis Winston, and the Saints will open the season with 3 consecutive games against NFC South rivals. Before meeting the Vikings in London in Week 4, the Saints have the 7th most challenging schedule, which features the Raiders, Eagles of the NFC West, NFC North, and NFC South. Highlights of their schedule includes hosting Joe Burrow, return to the Bayou, 2 Monday Night Football contests, and 1 Thursday night game versus the Cardinals. This season, the Saints will travel
Okay,
plenty of opportunities to make. So the Saints will have plenty of opportunity to make the run. But let me say this. This is what I said. Every year I've noticed that the Saints don't get a break as far as scheduling. Now I might be wrong, but that's just
no. Then here's why. Because when we won the Super Bowl, Roger Goodell has always had it against the Saints. Always.
who that.
Now, the reason why I keep saying that is because him and Sean Payton do not get along. In fact, they don't even like each other. Let's go and put that on the record. Okay? If you notice 2 years ago, after the Saints lost in the NFC Championship game, Sean Payton did a press conference. And underneath his Saints gear, he had a T-shirt.
I remember that.
Okay? Because if you go back and look at it, he had a T-shirt that had Roger Goodell on it. That had a little message toward Roger Goodell.
Yes,
right?
I remember that.
He's never really liked us. Okay, he suspended our coach for a whole entire year. Okay, so this should tell you the animosity between Roger Goodell and Sean Payton. Now, Sean Payton is a little bit more subtle about it, but you know he's definitely. I mean, there's no subtling when you suspend a head coach for an entire year. You're not subtle about your dislike for him. Okay, but you know Sean Payton wearing a little message for you underneath his Saints gear. That's a little subtle. But they don't like each other, okay? And it's not a secret, okay? Now, I can't speak for either one of them, but I'm talking about their actions toward each other.
Right.
There's some disdain or dislike, okay? Moving on, why I keep saying that Joe Burrow is easy? Because Joe Burrow ain't really played the Superdome on the professional level. Now, he did it on the collegiate level when he won the national championship, but that's a lot different than playing in the professional level, and you got these crazy Saints fans so deafening. Their volume is so deafening that you can't even hear yourself when you're calling the snap count. Okay. The reason why I say it's easy
and then when you look up in the stands, you see them dressed out in all kinds of stuff. I mean, it's like
right. But if you ask your prior caller what we did to Green Bay, we embarrassed them, and they had a 2-time or 3-time MVP. We embarrassed them. Okay? So Joe Burrow is easy. That's slim pickings. Remember now, he went to the Super Bowl in the AFC. That ain't that tough of a conference. So our Saints, 11-6, I can live with. 12-4, 13-3, 14-2 is more realistic. From where I sit, you have some teams that are in turmoil. Carolina's in turmoil. They don't have a quarterback.
Okay.
So that's a win.
Okay. Let's talk about the Chiefs.
The Buccaneers ain't beat us yet in 2 goddamn seasons during season games. So that's 2-0.
Okay.
The Falcons have a new quarterback that's worse than Matt Ryan, who they got rid of. So
True.
That's 3-0. There's your answer. Okay. Now, the only way we're going to lose out of one of those 3 teams is if Jameis Winston mucks it up. And I expect him to be better this year than he was last year. But there's only one problem. He's wearing a knee brace.
Well, I was going to ask you, because usually when a player comes back off of a major injury, that first year, they're kind of a little bit shy and timid as far as, you know, they say it's that second year when a player finally feels like, okay, I'm not favoring this knee. I'm not worried about injury. I'm back to my old self.
Yeah, but that's why we drafted offensive linemen, right? That's why we drafted and signed offensive linemen, because if you're James Winston's going to be your quarterback. Because if you remember, we really wanted Deshaun Watson. Okay, so we went after Deshaun Watson, even to the point to where, you know, Miss Benson went to Houston, right, and had a conversation with Deshaun. So we really wanted Deshaun Watson.
Well, so that's another show right there in itself, because I think he's going to be suspended.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking if we didn't get him, because we would have had to keep Jameis Winston. But Jameis Winston, some Sundays he's famous Jameis, and other Sundays he's infamous famous Jameis.
Wait a minute, hold on, man.
So he's not as consistent as we like him to be, but he will do. I mean, again, we went 9-8 last season with duct tape. We played 4 quarterbacks last season.
True.
4, and we went 9-8. So, what does that tell you about how dangerous we really are? if we had a quarterback. We got everything. We got defense. We got defensive line. We got linebackers. We got defensive backs. We got special teams. We got running backs. We got wide receivers. We got offensive line. Hell, we ain't got no quarterback. So we got everything. We got a coaching staff. We got the same culture. It's that quarterback position that's most concerning, simply because we don't have a franchise quarterback.
So now, do y'all have Michael Thomas back in the family and happy?
Well, he hasn't practiced yet. We happy that he's there, but we'd be even more happy if he was on the field. But he's there, great. He was there last year. We didn't play.
Right.
So the $100 million man. We'd like to see the $100 million man. Beat up defenses like he always does. But we understand that if he's not fully healthy and ready to go, we don't want you on the field.
I got you.
Right. So when you got a $100 million player, he's your most valuable asset. So we want no excuses of why you can't dominate like you did 2-3 years ago.
So bottom line is that it's going to come down to, in your all division, it's going to come down to, as usual, the Saints and the Buccaneers. Saints and Buccaneers. Well, Ricardo, appreciate you.
It will.
Appreciate you calling, and appreciate you kicking some knowledge. And like I was telling everyone, hey, we know this is Dry Dock, and we're trying to make sure that we have some shows that keep our listeners interested. In fact, next week's show will be old school versus analytics, and we'll see where everybody falls. Anyway, appreciate the call, brother, and we're going to push on because we're getting close to that hour. Thanks, man.
All right.
All right, as we push on, we're getting ready to wrap things up here, but I want to go make sure that I cover the other teams. Appreciate those brothers jumping in and calling. Joe, Green Bay Packer fan. Of course, we know we got our regular Ricardo calling in, kicking some knowledge. Real passionate about his Saints. Don't blame him because, hey, man. But we do know, according to this article, Carolina Panthers have a new coach. They're in full rebuilding mode, so their record is going to be 6-11. Then swinging back down to the AFC West. Here we have the Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs are picked to finish 12-5, according to the article. While the Chiefs have one of the toughest schedules in the NFL, the biggest question this year won't be about the record. It'll be about, can they get all those new rookies up to par? It's the old saying. Only thing you can trust a rookie to do is pick up the laundry. You can't trust him to pick up a blitzing linebacker. So I don't know, because remember, they traded away Tyreek Hill, so that might come back to bite them in the butt. Then we had the Raiders. Raiders picked to be 12-5 this year. The Raiders had what many consider to be the best all-season drive. We're going to see if that's going to add up. So we got the Raiders picked to be 12-5. So looking at this, kind of like what Ricardo was saying, we got all these people favored to have these good records. But hell, who's losing? Then we have the Chargers. Is this going to be the breakout year for the Chargers? According to the article, Chargers will finish with a record of 11-6. It says now they have a tough schedule. They have a .519 schedule based on the analysis. Will their quarterback break through? Will it be a breakthrough year for their quarterback? So all those things are going to be taken into consideration. Then we have the Broncos. Remember, The Broncos had a new coach. They picked up Russell Wilson this year. Were they a quarterback away from success? We'll see. And they open up that first year, the first game they open up, they will play the Seahawks. Remember, I said that game is like if you're a Seahawks fan, it's just like losing your girlfriend to a guy. Then that guy got to come in, you got to go to that guy's house and have dinner with him and your ex-girlfriend. So that's going to be a little something. Then, of course, we know the Buffalo Bills. Bills are picked. Now, one thing about the Bills, I've said, the Bills remind me of the Cowboys 2 or 3 years ago. They got everything in place, but and remember, I said that window to get it done is a small window. I think the Bills are a talented team. They got a lot of things going. They got an excellent quarterback, but nobody's gonna hand you the Lombardi. You have to go in and take that championship. So if the Bills don't get it done, probably with this year and maybe next year, that window will start to close for them. So according to the article, the Bills are going to be 13-4. Then, when it comes to the New England Patriots, you can never underestimate Coach Bill Belichick. Everybody says, well, was it Brady or was it Belichick? Brady versus Belichick. I think it was a combination of both. I think he's an outstanding coach, and I think, history have shown that Brady is an outstanding quarterback. So I think you had those two elements came together in that time for the Patriots, and they had nothing but success. So I still think a Bill Belichick team is going to always be successful. And then, of course, we got the Dolphins. They made a lot of changes. This is going to be the year that Tua are going to have to get it done. There's an old saying, he's got to, or get off the pot. So it's going to be, if he doesn't get it done, then they got to start looking for a different quarterback in that position. So according to this, they are predicted to go 9-8. Then we got the Jets. Jets, Jets. According to the article, Jets are going to have a losing record. They're going to be 7-10. I don't know if it's going to be rebuilding, but hell, the Jets are always rebuilding. And now let's talk about the AFC North. We got those Bengals. With Joe Burrows. Bengals are picked to go 12-5. So the Bengals may play 8 playoff game teams from a year. And it says they include 6 during the second half of the season. The good news, the first 9 opponents had a combined winning record of .464. So in other words, their first 9 opponents were all losers last year. So big things are expected of the Cincinnati Bengals. Their record is projected to be 12-5. Then, of course, we know the Steelers. Now, I don't know where the hell this is coming from. Got the Steelers projected to be 11-6. Now, nobody follows their team and do all those things. Nobody travel like the Pittsburgh Steelers. But Mitchell Trubisky is their quarterback. Enough said. Baltimore Ravens. Now, according to this article, the Ravens have the easiest schedule in the league. Now, last year, the Ravens had a bunch of injuries that had a real impact on what the Ravens were able to accomplish at the end of the year. Now, I've always said, one show that I may do in the future is going to be, what type of quarterback do you want? Do you want the dual threat quarterback, or do you want a quarterback that stands strong and long and tall in the pocket? I just think that you can never really win the Super Bowl with a quarterback that's just a running quarterback. You need that one that's an Aaron Rodgers type, that's a runner and a passer, a true dual threat quarterback, because sooner or later, if you have your quarterback and he's just a runner, he's really just another running back as far as defenses see it, and sooner or later they're gonna pop him and he's gonna get hurt. So I think with their quarterback, he actually is learning the position, and that goes back to his college coach. So he basically told him, he said, "Hey, look, if you want to have a long history in the league, you got to learn to throw from the pocket, because your ability to run is great, but as you get older and as teams study you, you're going to have to learn to throw from the pocket." So I think Lamar Jackson is starting to develop into a true dual threat quarterback. So I think that's going to be successful for them. Now, AFC South, we got the Tennessee Titans. According to this article, they're going to be 9-8. And now it says that Tennessee always had to play a Herculean schedule. each year they play a lot of damn games before they get a break in here. So that may come back to bite them in the butt as well. Now we talk about the Colts. The Colts have always been that team that flies under the radar. I don't know. They're not what you call a sexy team or whatever, but the Colts always have a good football team. They always can get it done. And they're always able to get it done. And so by doing that, I think the Colts are going to be there for the long run. According to the article, they're going to be 10-7. So there are big expectations expected from the Colts. Then we round things off with the Houston Texans. According to the article, Texans are going to be 7-10. I don't know who the hell they're going to beat because they don't have a quarterback. They got a lot of things missing. But I think they're starting to put a lot of pieces in place for the future. They're a young team, so we just have to see how that's going to go. Then we talk about teams that are in full rebuild mode. The Jacksonville Jags. Now, my team, the Commanders, our first game is against the Jags. Now, I will tell you, hell, if we lose that first game, I don't know what's going to – hell, I'm going to need full sports therapy for myself because that's a game that we should win. The Jags, they have a new coach. They're trying to put some things in place. Slowly, hopefully, they'll build some parts around their outstanding young quarterback so he can have a good career and not get him all hurt and gun shy and stuff like that. So that's the prediction for the Jags is 6-10. And folks, that is the prediction of all 32 teams in the NFL. So with that saying, I'd like to thank all my guests. I'd like to thank you for tuning in. And remember, go do some Juneteenth stuff. And happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. And remember, this is going to wrap it and cap it for the show. And for all the golden lions out there, stay golden.